Farm to table, Saskatchewan's hog farmers are committed to safe, sustainable pork production. Enjoy the flavor of the world's finest pork raised by people you can trust. Visit saskpork.com or visit us on Facebook at Pick Sask Pork. You know, Harrison and I really enjoy cooking in the kitchen, and we want you to join us. So let's have some fun. Welcome to Cooked with Shaq. Nice work, Harrison.
Thank you.
Welcome, everybody. Cooked with Shaq, another season. I'm Shaq, he's Harrison, and together we are going to make some wonderful culinary delights for you. Hopefully, anyway, because you never know what's going to happen on this show when it comes to making the food. I mean, we've had a little bit of, we've had some issues with some food. The last episode that we did, some puff pastry, so we're going to do actually a take two on the puff pastry, but we'll get to that in a second.
All right.
We are also featuring the Blue Mules. The new album is called Move On. Check out the Blue Mules when you can, in concert or online, or check out their CD. They're a great band from right here in Saskatoon. Okay, let's get to this. It's all about meat today. Now, the only thing is that we are not going to have bacon. We're not going to have cheese today. But that's okay, because we still have a lot of meat that we're going to be working with.
I only got 20 minutes today. Sorry, dude. I only got about 20
You're going
minutes.
to take off. Don't you worry about it. We're going to have a certain version of bacon. It's actually an Italian kind of bacon.
Okay.
It's a cured ham called prosciutto. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to feature the pork tenderloin. We've got the prosciutto ham. So we're going to make a pork Wellington. Now, we have made beef Wellington on the show before. Remember when Big Randy was here and we had that great, big, huge beef tenderloin?
It was amazing.
Well, that beef tenderloin would probably cost about $150 million. Okay, so...
and Randy's not here.
That's right.
To pay for it.
So what we're going to do is go with a little cheaper meat, and that is the pork tenderloin. It's far less expensive, but it's very good. And so that's why we're going to decide to go with the pork Wellington here today.
Okay.
And we're going to use the Italian prosciutto. Okay, so to start things off with, we want to do a couple of prep things. And one is, we have one egg, and we want to get that in a bowl with a little bit of water. Now what we're going to do with that is stir it up, and we're going to kind of use this as a glue, but we'll use that a little bit later on. But I just want to get that done and stirred up and ready to go. Okay, so that's ready. Our second bit of prep work is we're going to stuff this Wellington, this pork Wellington, with apples. So you get a nice little, because apples and pork go really well together.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna open up the pull start food processor. We're going to use our handy dandy core. Have you ever seen one of these things?
I finally got one.
They are
Man,
so good.
I'm eating more apples than I ever have.
And you don't have to worry about the seat. Oh.
Yeah. Well,
watch out for the splashback. Watch out for the splashback.
I'm telling you, man, after I saw you use one of those, I had to go out and buy one, and it's a life changer.
It is. It's so quick. It gets rid of the core just like that. Done.
That easy.
And you've got all these wonderful slices of apples. So now what we want to do is get these apples into the food processor. All right. Give me a little food processing music. Here we go. Here we go. And that's all we need, just like that. So apples are ready. So you want them to be finely diced. So that's kind of what we're looking for right there. All right, so that, we're gonna set that aside. So that prep is done. So we've got the egg ready to go, we've got the apples ready to go. One more little bit of prep on the meat itself. So now if you take a look at the tenderloin, it has this kind of a silvery skin on it. And that is exactly what it's called. It's called silver skin. And it's kind of chewy. It doesn't really cook up very well. So you want to kind of get rid of it. So now all you have to do, it's very simple. You just take a very sharp knife So for instance, let's go to this one here. So let's just get the knife underneath, just like this. And it just comes off. Just like that. Just a little bit more here. Just prep it up just like that.
Definitely got to have a sharp knife for that.
Yes, very sharp knife. A thinner knife might work a little bit better too. You know, you can use this big butcher knife, but sometimes a thinner knife is a little bit better. Okay, so we're gonna get rid of that. So a little bit more on this one. Okay, so that one's done. Now we're gonna do 2 tonight. Since most of the time, when you get a pork tenderloin, it comes in 2s. I'm not exactly sure why, but it just does. There's that silver skin right there. See how you want to just want to get that right off there. See that?
Perfect.
Comes right off. And one more. Okay. There. That's ready to go. Now what we're going to do when we come back, we're going to stuff the apples into the pork tenderloin. How we're going to do it? Find out in a couple of minutes on Cooked with Shaq.
Farm to table, Saskatchewan's hog farmers are committed to safe, sustainable pork production. Enjoy the flavor of the world's finest pork raised by people you can trust. Visit saskpork.com or visit us on Facebook at Pick Sask Pork.
Welcome back, Cooked with Shaq. We are doing Pork Wellington today, and we have got the pork tenderloin all prepped and ready to go. Now what we want to do is stuff our apples in there. So, very, very simple. You take a very sharp knife, and you go about 3/4 of the way down, right to the ends, just like that. You can butterfly it out a little bit like that. Do that to the second one too. And butterfly it out a little bit. Butterflying, I mean like just spread it apart so you can get the apples in there. So, we want to take our apples and we just want to put them in there. Simple as that. It's like making a big submarine sandwich or something. Just pop those apples in there. Apples going in, and do the other one the same way. Okay, the apples are there. Done. Now,
there's no way you could like put bacon bits in the middle of that.
Well, if you wanted to, you probably...
I'm just see.
You know, that would have worked fine. That would have worked perfect.
There's always a way, Shaq.
That's
to
right.
Incorporate
You are
bacon.
Absolutely right. That would have been a perfect way to incorporate
See
the
those
bacon.
chopped up little apples? It looks so healthy. I thought I'd throw some bacon bits in.
It's just coming up with the great ideas, man. Nicely done. Nicely done. Okay, so let's move this out of the way. So now we're going to kind of squish this together a little bit. All right, get all the apples in there nice and tight, squish them together. Now what we're going to do is move that over here. We are going to wash our hands real quick. Then, because you know you've been handling raw meat.
Safety first.
That's right. So now what you want to do is grab some parchment paper. This is going to be fun. All right.
I have quite the battle with that stuff at home. Yeah, that's me.
Look at it. There.
Yeah.
Whew.
It's not easy.
That is a battle with parchment paper. Okay. Now, the prosciutto. This is Italian cured ham. You can call it bacon if you want. But
like that.
It's actually just a very thin ham. Now we're going to take this. Of course, it was coming out perfect before when I wasn't on camera. Now, okay. So we want to layer it like this. So let's just do this real quick as we can.
That is really thin.
Yes, it's super thin. You can almost see right through it. Okay, I'm gonna just keep on layering this up. It's so thin that it's really kind of hard to handle because it's starting to become room temperature. It's easier to handle when it's a little bit colder.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so let's do one more.
Imagine being the guy packing that, hey?
Oh,
It's like
what a job.
a whole week of just layering that stuff, just perfect in a package.
Okay, so the last one goes on like that. All right, prosciutto's done. Now we take our tenderloin and we put it right across like this. And then what we want to do, actually I'm going to put it in the middle. It'll be a little bit more easier in the middle. Take the parchment paper and you take that right over the top like this. And you keep on rolling it. Just keep rolling it like that until it's all completely covered with the prosciutto. Look at that.
Wow.
Perfect.
Wow.
Perfect. That's exactly what it's supposed to look like. Thank goodness it worked.
Yes. And it looks like bacon just wrapped around.
That's right.
Yes.
Exactly.
I'm sold on this, I think.
So
Yeah.
now what we're going to do is put this over here for now, and we're going to see how fast I can do the second one. Okay?
All right.
On your mark,
Get
set, go. And there it is, all
Nice.
done. Nicely wrapped. Okay, so now again, we want to put this over here. Get that off of there. That's that parchment paper again. Okay, so it's all nicely ready to go. All right, get this out of the way. Whew. Okay, now I've worked up a sweat on this.
Yeah.
You know what? We're gonna come back and we're gonna have the puff pastry. Take two on the puff pastry. We'll see how this all works out. It is Pork Wellington tonight on Cooked with Shaq. We're back in just a couple of minutes.
Farm to table, Saskatchewan's hog farmers are committed to safe, sustainable pork production. Enjoy the flavor of the world's finest pork raised by people you can trust. Visit saskpork.com or visit us on Facebook at Pick Sask Pork.
Welcome back. It's Cooked with Shaq. We are making Pork Wellington today, where we have pork tenderloin. We've stuffed them with apples. We've got prosciutto wrapped around the pork tenderloin, and now we are about to attempt to put it in the puff pastry. Now, I don't know if you saw the last episode we had with puff pastry, but things didn't go as well as we thought it would because the puff pastry got a little bit too thought out, and it was kind of a mess. But you know what? Whatever tastes good. It tasted fantastic.
It was fine.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to try take two here with the puff pastry. Now, what we have to do first off, though, is we have to prep it up a little bit. We want to take some whole grain mustard, and we want to take some of that whole grain mustard and put it a nice thin swath, if you want to call it that, right in the middle of the puff pastry. Okay, just get it nice and evened out there. All right, now we also want to take a little bit of pepper. Pop some pepper in there. And we want to take a little bit of dry thyme, just a smidge of dry thyme, because thyme goes great with pork. All right, so a little bit of dry thyme. Now we want to take, which one do we want to go with? Let's go with, let's go with this one here.
Okay.
Okay, so we take our tenderloin. Now, please, work. Well, first off, what we want to do is take a little bit of the egg mixture.
Oh yeah, you need that.
We want to use that as the glue.
That's our glue for sure.
Okay, so we want to put that right on the end. Make sure it's going
Just
to
need
stick.
it on the end, that's it, eh?
Hopefully that's all we need. It's starting to stick a little bit, but we're gonna give it a shot. Okay. Oh, so far so good, Harrison.
Never
So
stop
far, so
trying,
good.
kids. Follow your dreams.
That's right. That's right.
Gotta keep at it.
All right, now what we want to do is we want to take the other side. It's still making a little bit of a mess. Why do I use puff pastry? Why? Why? Oh, because it's so good when it works out. Okay, so we're gonna look at the other side's working fantastic.
Oh yeah, that's easy.
Okay, so we're gonna take this and we're gonna wrap it right over.
That's not bad at all.
Hey, not bad, not
No.
bad. We're gonna pinch it all together.
This is gonna taste so good, man.
And now we're gonna take the ends and do the same. So kind of pinch the ends. If you can get, now looks like the tenderloin is a little bit longer than the actual puff pastry, but that's okay.
It's like the old, make sure the meat fits the bun.
That's
kind
right,
of thing,
that's
right?
Ratio. It's
Ratio.
all about ratio.
It is.
Okay, so that's, got that one. All right, so let's take our pan. And now, if there's any way that we can possibly move this thing from one
I feel like I
place to
should
another.
drop the guitar here and
help.
But I don't know. This is very entertaining for me. Should I just hold the
you know
paper
what?
down?
That's a good idea.
I'll hold the paper down.
Hold the paper down.
Okay.
And I will move this along.
It's definitely a two-man
It's
job.
moving along. It's moving along nice. So far, so
Yeah. Easy.
good. Okay, we're
There
good.
we go.
We're good. We're good.
Success.
So far, so good. Okay.
It's a little stressful, I must say, but
is.
this is going to be worth it.
This is not supposed to be stressful. This is supposed to be fun. But you know what? We're having fun doing this anyway.
I'm having fun.
So since that one worked out so well,
Let's do it again.
let's try it again and really up our stress level. Okay, here we go. Let's try this one again. So this
Maybe-
is store-bought.
Just dip the whole
pastry.
thing in egg.
Okay, so mustard.
Yeah.
A little bit of mustard. Okay, mustard's on. That's ready to go. A little bit of thyme.
It's funny how just a little bit of spice makes that much of a difference.
Oh,
eh?
yes.
That's what really.
And a little bit of pepper.
Yeah.
Okay, pepper's there. Now.
Oh no, glue it.
Oh yes, glue. You're
gotta
right.
glue this
yes,
thing.
Gotta glue. Gotta glue. Whew. Lucky you're here, Harrison. It could have been a total mess.
I can play a little bit of guitar, but I'll tell you.
He's good at reminding me about things. Okay,
Yep.
ready? Here we go. And onto the puff pastry. Now just
Dun, 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 dun.
zen out for a little bit.
Yeah, focus.
Focus. And here we go. Ooh. So far, so good. Look at that. Things are getting
Man.
even better. Things are working out even better on this one.
Okay, this one's mine.
We're gonna do we're gonna do the same thing over here and just kind of peel it back. See, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
We've learned a new tip. Just use the parchment paper to kind of get it all in there.
Let the tools do the work.
Okay, so pinch it all together. You got that glue. Got the egg working as the glue. All right, and then again, we got the ends. So get those together. Try to squeeze as much as we can. Well, if the ends are open a little bit, that's okay. Okay, now, time for the transfer. Here it comes.
Got it.
Oh boy.
All right. Oh, I got this.
You got it? This shouldn't be a two-person job, but it is. And success?
Da-da-da-da!
Yeah! Woo, success! Yeah! I got kind of a doughy hand, but sorry, I should have washed my hands before I did that.
Yeah.
Oh well. Okay, we've got them firmly onto the cookie sheet. Now what you do is you take a little bit more of that egg wash and you go all across it, because what's gonna happen is it's gonna make it nice and shiny, and it's gonna make it nice and brown. Okay, so just egg wash that. That's done. Okay, 400-degree oven for about 25 to 30 minutes. That's where this is going, in the oven. Whew. I think we better take a break after all that. That was pretty stressful, but you know what? It's done. And when we come back, I'm gonna show you a nice sauce to go with this Pork Wellington on Cooked with Shaq.
Farm to table, Saskatchewan's hog farmers are committed to safe, sustainable pork production. Enjoy the flavor of the world's finest pork raised by people you can trust. Visit saskpork.com or visit us on Facebook at Pick Sask Pork.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Cooked with Shaq, and we are making Pork Wellington today. It is in the oven right now, and it is smelling. Can you smell that?
Oh, I can.
You can smell the prosciutto. You can smell the puff pastry baking in there. There's also the whole grain mustard, and of course that beautiful stuffed with apples pork tenderloin that is all wrapped up, and it's looking good. And we're gonna get to that probably in just a little bit. But first off, we're gonna make a sauce to go along with it. It's kind of a glaze, a little bit of a barbecue sauce, basic barbecue sauce, but it's going to have an apple taste to it, because the apples go with, of course, the Pork Wellington. So what we're going to do to get the apple flavor in is use apple jelly. So it's got the sweetness, it's got the apple flavor already in there, and we're going to have a few other ingredients. So we're gonna start it off with a pot, just put it on the stove, on kind of a medium heat. And we're gonna start with a bunch of ketchup. I'm not sure what the measurements are of this. We're just throwing it in, okay? So
we always just throw her in.
just get a whole bunch of, whoa, there we go. A whole bunch of ketchup in there.
We're gonna boil some ketchup.
We're gonna take it off the stove here real quick, because that's really hot. Okay, we're gonna put a little bit of mustard in there too. Not the whole thing, just maybe a tablespoon of mustard. Okay, now, we're gonna also a little bit of molasses, not a whole bunch, because if you have too much molasses in, it starts to taste a little bit bitter. So we're just gonna have maybe about a half a teaspoon of molasses in there. And that just goes in. And of course, molasses takes forever and ever and ever to get in there. Okay, we're gonna help it along a little bit by putting it on the hot side. Okay, now, we have a little bit of apple cider vinegar.
I love
apple cider vinegar. Just a wee touch of it, maybe about a half, 3/4 of a tablespoon, or a teaspoon, that is.
I always find that's kind of like a secret ingredient for a lot of stuff, right?
Yes, it gives it a nice zing. Gives it that kind of you know, when you taste something and you kind of go,
sauce.
Wow, what is that?
It's exactly what I do.
That's usually because you have like a vinegar of some sort in there. So that's the apple cider vinegar.
Right.
All right, now we're gonna take the apple jelly, and we're just gonna put a whole bunch of apple jelly in. Sure, how about that much? Put it back on the heat, get your whisk it all up. And then we also have to throw a little garlic in too.
I love my garlic.
So we'll have about that much. With that much garlic. Put the whole thing in, why not?
Why not?
There we go. A little bit of garlic in there. Now what you want to do is basically warm it up, get it to a boil, and let it just kind of sit there for a while on a low heat, just to kind of simmer and get all those tastes, all those flavors incorporated, and have that apple jelly melted down too to a liquid. Oh, you can smell that. Oh, does that smell good? And always, of course, what do? You taste.
Test. Well, Shaq gets to.
Make sure you taste it. Make sure it's the way you want it. Oh, you can taste those apples?
Yeah?
That's awesome. How do you like those apples? Okay, so that's good. That is awesome. Let that simmer for a little bit. And, I think the Pork Wellington is ready.
Ah!
All right, let's see how these babies are. Well, one kind of split in half a little bit, which is okay. That's why we made two, just to be on the safe side. So that's what it looks like right there. This is the Pork Wellington. It's got the stuffed pork tenderloin stuffed with apples in there. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to transfer this now over to the cutting board, where we're gonna cut it, put the apple sauce on there, the nice apple barbecue sauce that we made. Look how nice and brown that is. See how nice and shiny that is? That's what the egg does. That's what the egg wash does.
That's great.
Okay, so now we're gonna, look at that. Oh, it comes off just nicely. Look at it, comes off a lot easier that way.
Yeah.
Nothing to that. Okay, so that's got that. Now, we're gonna now put it onto the plate. Let's plate it up. Now, when you're doing this, best thing is to use a serrated blade. So, because what you're doing is basically cutting through bread, right?
Right.
You're cutting through the dough. So you don't want it to be all smashed and everything, so use your serrated blade and it should work out fine. Okay, moment of truth, everybody, here it comes.
All right.
All right, now I've got this ready to go just in case. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut an end off here just so that, all right, and ooh, look at that. Look at that, looks good so far. You can see the prosciutto. Okay, so now we're gonna cut a chunk off like this. And then put that directly, okay, now I'm gonna need a little help here. Put that directly onto the plate. Now look at that, oh, that pork is done perfectly.
Yes.
Look at that. I'm gonna cut another one off. Again, put it over here, and we'll just kind of lean this one up against that. Cut one more. You're gonna put that up. Oh, look out. And then up against that. There, see, look at that. Now we've got the apples, we've got the prosciutto in there. We've got the puff pastry. Now, let's take our sauce, our apple glaze, and just kind of dribble it all along there. You can smell the apple in there. It just smells awesome. And just for fanciness, let's just put a little blurb there.
Of course.
A little blurb there. A little blurb there, and let it go all the way around like that. And there it is. There is your Pork Wellington, cooked to perfection. Oh, it was a bit of a stressful thing.
It was a little bit, but it's worth it.
We got it. We got it done. It's like you say, it is worth it, and it's going to be fun eating this too.
Yeah.
So thanks very much for everybody joining us tonight for Cooked with Shaq. And once again, the Blue Mules, you've been hearing them all episode long, and check them out when they're in town. Thanks very much, everybody. Join us next time on Cooked with Shaq.
Farm to table, Saskatchewan's hog farmers are committed to safe, sustainable pork production. Enjoy the flavor of the world's finest pork raised by people you can trust. Visit saskpork.com or visit us on Facebook at Pick Sask Pork.